Okay, crude's just going sideways. Hey everybody, welcome to our live Q&A session. Glad to have you with us. Happy Friday. As always, when you are looking to participate in any market, there's very little that you actually have good control over, with the exception being risk. there's definitely the risk, and so you want to be mindful of that in all times. Also, if this is your first time to join us for one of these Q&As, just a quick thing to kind of get you caught up to what we're about and what we're doing, is that we're behaviorists as we look at markets. We look at price and how price behaves, how participants interact with price at certain levels, really how they interact with price at every level. And we don't necessarily have although we think about the fundamental story and macroeconomies and all that kind of stuff. This is more hobby than it is actually actionable data. We're not specifically technicians, but what profiling does specifically is it allows us to arrange the market generated information, allows us to see where there is prices being accepted, prices being rejected, prices where participants are finding value, prices where people are looking for new value. It's a very objective way to look at the market. It's not a trading system. It still requires critical thought, but it allows you to objectively see what's happening on the hard right edge of the chart. So we always love to throw this quote up from our buddy Tom over at Blue Tree, just to remind us that we look to interpret behavior around price. A couple quick welcome and introductions. Again, this is your first time. I'm Josh. I'm the founder of Trade with Profile, and along with me is JP. And between the two of us, we're kind of the core of our development team. We are a skill development firm. So the traders come to us sometimes through brokerage referrals, software vendors, and so forth, because they are still looking for consistency. Often they've been in markets for quite some time. Maybe they even had a period of success and now they're struggling, but they're looking for maintaining the edge around consistency. Again, because there's no guarantee of success in markets. There's no 100% holy grail you're never going to lose. You're always, good grief. I was short to 73 and now I'm killing myself because we're short at 47, and I'm not still short. We do this through something called our profile trading development pathway, which essentially takes 16 core ideas and disseminates them across 4 months to build that type of independent consistency. And we do that folding in 3 objective focus areas. This is really it. This is what we think and believe is required to have consistency in markets, is that you have to understand how to read the behaviors of the auction. There are just 4 of them. You have to have the ability to ask and answer 4 questions before you put a trade on, and you have to know what stage of competency you're in. It would do you no good to think that you're in a stage 4, which is an instinctive, kind of an unknown, like it so well, you just operate from instinct, to think that you're at that stage when you really don't know what you don't know. That would be very detrimental. So it's not bad to be at one stage or another, but it is helpful to know which one you are and be honest about that. Where these 3 overlap is where we find consistency. And we push forward on that every week through something we call our trade plan, which puts all of this concept from the pathway to action. And one thing that we talk about a lot, and this is where we're going to start today with our Q&A. Each week with our Q&A, we try to come up with something that we either we're talking about, was triggered in something that we're talking about in our community, that we can also expose you to as you're working towards PRACTIVE. That's just silly. I'm going to edit this slide. You can tell that I was out late with some friends last night, and we were having way too much fun.
Trying to stay warm is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, we're trying to stay warm. We're talking about deliberate practice and how to do deliberate practice. I always love this Bruce Lee quote. If you're not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but if you're the man who has practiced 1 kick 10,000 times. And so what I want to do is I just want to kind of walk through a specific setup and how to do deliberate practice around that and what that looks like. And then from there, we'll take some Q&A and we'll look at what the live markets are doing and what, if any, opportunity they still present. And it could be rather foreboding into the Thanksgiving holidays. Okay, so perfect. With that, let's get over here. I'm just gonna send these real quick. Crude is just, we're looking for crude to make a move to 58 if they can get their mojo going.
Yeah, after they came back through that open, they just sort of sat.
Yeah. So it's pretty significant that NQ pushed through the 65 level. That opens the door maybe even to 82.10 today. Let me make sure. That I don't have. Okay, perfect. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We promised that we would do this. This isn't prepared. We're gonna just do this from scratch. But what I want to do, whoever it is, pick a. I mean, it could be. Let's at least limit it to the Nasdaq or crude oil, and somebody pick a date that we could use, and we're gonna trade that date together. I'm gonna walk you through. We're gonna use IRT here as our playback because that'll allow us to actually put some trades on and stock the whole thing. But somebody give me a date in the past that we can trade. You can either put that in the chat or in the Q&A, and whether you'd rather see crude or Nasdaq. And I have no idea why it's not working. None whatsoever. I wonder, you know what? I know why it's not working. Hang on a second. Watch this. Yep. Just figured it out. Okay. It's because I was only doing the replay for, this should be right. Yeah, I was doing the replay for NQ instead of, okay, so we're just gonna do this. Sorry, gang, my bad. So on this platform, I forget that you can do replay for like a whole number of symbols, or you can do it for one specific symbol, and this is just for NQ. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do, let's back up. Let's say what time we're at 9 o'clock. Let's go back to that date. And we're gonna go man, I feel like an idiot. My apologies. So now this is all going to work for us. Okay. So it's Monday. We're into the first half hour of trade. Coming into a new week, there's a prominent point of control. So let's just talk reference areas in the auction here just to begin with. There's a prominent point of control from Friday at 79.17. That would be a key reference. If we fail lower, we actually open lower from Friday to start the week. We're trading back to the most traded price of the last rolling 5 sessions at 78.93. Man, they're putting the hurt on crude. ES got 3,100. Now we just need the beans to rally, JP. Okay, so we're into the first 30 minutes in A period. So as a general rule on Monday, I will never take a trade in the first hour. So we're gonna skip forward here. right to that first hour. Okay, so here's what we have. So far we have some overlap between A and B period. This is what we call an open auction outside of range. There is a gap here, and so you just need to be aware that there could be a directional place in that. And so we're going to wait. If we can get, let me get my annotation tool here. We have some references lower, so 77.96. If we take out the low here, that could push us towards 77.96. If we take out the high, that could push us to 79.17. So I'm going to watch the extension here above or below, and we'll just kind of keep forwarding the tape forward until we find an opportunity to play off of this. And so we're going to now just kind of go every 5 minutes. We're into still not playing very smooth. That could be because we're doing what we're doing here. So like right now, we're still inside of this initial balance, although we're back to the open. Let's do 10 seconds on our playback. Try to speed this up here. So far we got about 40 cent, or I'm sorry, 40 point width. If they can get above that 95, we'll be looking for opportunities to go with. And the rule is like once it breaks on this specific trade, you're looking for a pullback to the developing point of control, volume point of control. At this point, that's 66.75. That, you know, to go long. Otherwise, we'll wait until it gets higher and then we'll look to fade it. And, you know, if we take out the low, we'll look for pullbacks up towards kind of that 75 area to be short for lower. But right now this is just the chop. A lot of balance. Typically, I would have volume breakdown data of like delta, bid and order delta, but I don't retain more than 5 days historical delta. Although I think I just saw a release that IRT is now offering all historical delta. So I'm basically just gonna have to lean on period volume. Okay, so here we got IB low. We've taken out the IB low. So here's the trade. Okay, so we're gonna look for pullbacks to 66.75 up to 75. To be short, target one would be 37.50. That's 50% extension of the IB, and then beyond that would be to 96.50. if they don't give us a pullback and they just trade this way, once they get to 35.50, then we'll look for failure to rotate back up, and that would be the fade. So either looking to go with, or we're looking to fade. Pretty good volume there on that break. Let's see if they can. Let's see, where's overnight? An overnight low is significantly lower.
What dome is that you have up?
This is just the trading dome inside of IRT.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that one before.
All right, so they are pulling back.
Did you see crude?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it at 58.
Yeah. I put that on, put stop in this morning. Just crossing my finger. I said I got to run out real quick.
Okay, here we're gonna be short here. Okay, see this push right. So here's the run, pull back, push in. So initial defense is from where this selling initiated. So kind of initial stops up here. We'd get nervous if we got above 75.25, and again we're looking for a move down towards 35 and so forth. And this is using those 4 questions. The opportunity was, a push lower. It's a directional open. We're looking for them to extend. There's already those prices down there from overnight. We've taken out the initial balance low, so there are more sellers willing to show up, and we're looking to lean into those.
Looks like they want this thing to roll down.
Yeah, they're accepting, building out some contract volume, but they could push up here.
Boom, baby. Come on, keep going. There we go.
Jeez, 82.41, huh?
Yep. Come on, keep going.
Okay, this.
Oh, it's a beautiful Friday.
Yeah, it is.
Anytime you can go 2 for 2 in the morning, you're rocking. As crazy as my morning's been, I'll take it, man.
Yeah. Got a poor low here on the profile. So if I collapse this down, see there's not a lot of excess to the downside to shut off this auction, and we've now just moved the point of control lower. So hopefully we can, if we push back down here towards 56, then we'll pull our stop down to 71. But still we're kind of looking into these buyers. Now this I don't like. I should not be seeing impulsive buying like this. And if we go neutral, if we trade above IB high, that totally changes the story, and that could take this thing to 79.17. The nice thing about this composite level up here is I know that that's going to take, take some effort to get through. There we go. All right, now if they can push through this little deal here at 66, then we'll come down and we'll defend this excess up here at 82.50. don't like it. Yeah, NQ, all the equities are running. We're going to push new lows for the week, most likely. Glorious. Gosh, crude's 67. That's the move I wanted yesterday. It was just relentless.
Okay, NASDAQ's really pushing down.
Yeah.
This is turning into a really good one.
Yeah.
And there's no, matter of fact, now we're looking at Wednesday's lows right now here coming up.
Yeah.
What if we take out those? Katie bar the door.
So, I mean, I'm back up here in the 75 area, which you remember when I talked about that, that's a place that makes me nervous. Like I'm not getting the follow through lower that I want to see. And that's why practice is great, because you know, you're priming the brain to say, okay, you know, where am I ultimately wrong? There's nothing that's really negated this trade yet. And I might add to it if I can get some impulsive selling, you know, from value here. Oh no, that's not what I want to see. It's almost into the close. Crap. Yeah. Bad trade. All right, so let's talk about that trade. So that was what? Had a gap because they're almost closed. I'm on Mountain Time, so that's 2 o'clock is the close. Little bit of excess down there. We were looking for further extension. Couldn't get it. Lots of rotation. So if you're aggressive down there, then it's not the way to go. So what do? You take that and you go to the next day. All right, so let's fast forward. Now that we've got this thing working.
I got to tell you guys, if you have replay on your charts, it is a beautiful thing to learn from. So,
yeah. All right.
I don't think enough people. I don't think enough people use it. I know a lot of people don't use it. So.
Okay, so here we are. IB is formed the same day. We're in balance with yesterday's trade. You know, the key reference was a 78.73. Again, we're looking for IB extension. If IB extends higher, we can go to 79.17. If it extends lower, then we could push towards some of those untested Globex lows from the prior auction. So we're just going to kind of wait and see. All right, this looks like a pretty good attempt to take out the IB high. Nope. That's why I wait for that confirmation. See if they get above 93. So you need this any setup. The challenge with other setups is that you don't know, especially if they're not as time-based as like an IB trade is, where you can kind of fast forward to a specific time and then go from there. But just you start a historical date and you just keep beans new lows. You keep waiting. Let's see if we can get back through the open. A lot of rotation so far in this day. Still no IB extension. So at this point, there's no trade.
And again, there's another thing right there. If you want to change your trading pretty quickly, wait for the first 60 minutes to get set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen one thing more than that has changed people's trading careers.
Yep.
For the better, that is.
Yeah,
that and the 4 questions.
That's right. It just allows you to see a little bit more of the structure, what kind of open. I mean, this is a very non-directionally convicted open. This auction is definitely balancing around that 78.83 area. So there's a move coming. So more likely to get powerful movement away from this area. You just don't know when. But one of the first clues is can we get outside of that initial balance? Okay, so we're coming up on 1 p.m. Eastern. Still inside the IB. It could be a non-trend day, and if that's the case, then there's no trade that day. By the way, a non-trend day, there's only about 3% chance you have a non-trend day in any given session. Very, very rare. And then, in fact, this day looks even like it's inside of Globex, inside of yesterday's range. I don't remember. Were we waiting for something the 18th? That's Tuesday. Was September 18th? Is that FOMC?
Was it no.
The 18th?
Wasn't that the day that? Oh, that's September 18th. Oh,
September 18th.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have to go back and look at that. Shit. I'll be right back.
Yep. Yeah, we're just waiting. All right, let's fast forward here. Let's try to speed this up. See if we can get. There we go. Okay, so there's IB high extension. So they took out the IB high just by a little bit. And we're going to look for opportunity to go with those buyers. Now, it could be down here at IB low. So that, whoever extends the IB, there's only about 30% chance that you'll extend in the opposite direction once you've extended. All right, so we're going to try to find a trigger to go with these buyers. Now, if they come back and take out the IB low, that would flip the story. Coming into the last hour, this may not trigger. There we go. And all right, so we're going to go with this. And we'll be wrong if we get below this selling spike right here. And we're looking for him to push higher into the close. Got an hour. If we can make new highs, then we're going to defend this where this buying spike is right here. So that should hold. That's kind of where we're wrong. What, 86? In this trade, we would definitely be out by the close. It's a little late in the day for it to run. Yeah. Yep. Going to be tough. Probably going to get stopped out. It's at 86. There we go. There's the pop. There's the pop. Yep. Yep. Okay, so we're going to sell. We're going to sell one. We're going to trail this. Can they get that 17 by the close? So remember that 17 reference. So now, you know, see this buying coming here. I'm going to defend this. I do not want to trade back through this. So free trade. We won't lose unless we get below, and we're looking for 17. Almost there. Almost there. Boom. Done. Hit target. Okay. Awesome. All right, so that would be complete for that day. That would be the target extension on that trade. And then you just do the same thing the next day. Keep going through. You're looking to either go with it, fade it, but you know, you have to have a specific setup that you're looking for, and then you just got to get the reps. Got to get the reps over and over again. Go over here and look at where we're at. Really, really impressive move lower here in crude. So what we were looking for, you know, in terms of our plan this morning, we were looking for early failure attempts higher in crude, and we were looking for a move back to 58. Yesterday's most traded price. The reason for that is we've been moving significantly, you know, big moves last couple days, and we were looking for crude to at least balance, and they did balance. There must be some kind of news event, because it was a very strong trend day yesterday. Should have at least held in this area, and the fact that they're pushing through that, they could actually move all the way to 56.92 by the end of the day. NASDAQ here. This is the follow through from this big day here on Wednesday. This is what we call a double distribution day. You can see the single prints here. This was China trade related. And a big day like this, you'd expect follow through lower. We still have not made new lows on that. All of our key multi-time frame value references are here and here. So I'm expecting this to kind of fail as we get later in the day. I actually might look for a responsive long from like 82.10. That's a long-term composite level as well to rotate higher. But unless we get down there, I'm not doing anything else. And if we do get down there, that's most likely a trend day, which means we'll probably trade lower early into the week next week before finding some buyers. Okay. We got a few minutes for some questions. If there's specific things that you want to look at, I apologize I couldn't get the replay running sooner than I did that we could see more sessions. But that's, you know, we managed one trade, you know, chase that. And, you know, then the other part of that is as you're doing that, you're working through those trades, you're keeping a log as you're doing the, you know, we're going back through the tape, and you're saying, okay, well, how could I have executed that trade better? I mean, I can tell you right now that first trade that I took, I should have bear in mind that it was a gap. There was already, you know, the product had already moved past the expected move of the day. So I should have been wary of extension lower, trying to go with that when you already had the gap. That, you know, where there's rotation in the day, I was too aggressive on the low, and that's what squeezed me. Would have probably looked more for a fade long after the extension than and most likely wouldn't have placed a trade on Monday. The Tuesday trade was a better trade. All right. Yeah. There we go. Good day for a Friday. All right, they're looking to. We've got quite a few singles here in queue. So we're creating another distribution here today. A little bit of excess here in this 30-minute period, but they've pulled the volume point control lower. A couple areas of singles here and here. Would not be surprised for them to trade back to 61. But I'm not going to participate. I was looking this morning. I was looking short for 73, and I got that move. So I'm done. Okay, question is, how is the relation to the Globex overnight range? If the IB is inside the Globex or outside, does it have a statistically significant meaning? Yes, it does. There's a 97% chance you're going to exceed either the overnight high or overnight low. Go back 1,000 trading sessions, and that's a consistent stat. So it becomes a good reference. But it's only a 97% chance that it will take out one or the other, not both. Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look, we often will take. I mean, like crude has engulfed the Globex trade. Most often, we just take out one side. We very rarely take out both. I don't have numbers for taking out both. They're going to be low. I can just tell you, they're going to be low. It's going to be significant. It'd be significant, statistically significant. You wouldn't even care. It's so low. So rare. Yeah. I'm just looking over here at my other platforms, just trying to see where else everything else is. Gosh, soybeans, what the heck? Just no buyers in the beans at all. All right, so I'm gonna go turn my data back on here. So if, you know, the moral of the story, if you need some help thinking through, you know, deliberate practice, talk to us. We, you know, happy to help you look at that. There are different platforms have different ways that you can do that, and load historical things and do market replay. Definitely have a tool in your arsenal that allows you to do market replay and go back and trade historical days. I can tell you one thing that I've been doing recently is as the volatility had been getting lower, the VIX in the NQ. When the VXN, which is the VIX of the NQ, gets below 15, I'm not as good a trader. And so I went back and traded days that the VIX was that low, just to get myself closer to that. Yeah, Dean, the only trade I've taken today was, once we got back inside of Wednesday's range, got inside of Thursday's range in the NQ, I was short for 73. That's not an IB setup. That's a different setup. I've not taken the IB extension trade or fade. There is the potential for, so I can tell you right now, there is the potential for the fade here in the NQ. However, the problem is that you've migrated the volume point control down there. So there's a structure cleanup possibility, these single prints, like if the auction can rotate back up in here. But you have to have a higher high on a 30-minute first. So we're one time framing lower, every 30-minute, lower low, lower high. Until that stops, I wouldn't even think about being long. And if they get a higher high on a 30-minute, then I might look for a push lower and then trigger on a 5-minute to go back this way. But that's the trade. You can see here on the IB low, there was no pullback. I mean, they immediately extended this, so there was no pullback to go with it. So all you're left with is a fade now, if they offer it.
The fade.
Yeah, if they offer it, that's the operating word, is they have to offer it. I mean, looks promising in the fact that you've pulled value down, you're back above it. There's good excess on this 30-minute. The order flow is definitely bullish in this 30-minute, but that could just be profit taking as well. So I would not chase this. And it's also Friday, so we're going to start to see the volume wane as the day goes on. I think a better opportunity even today from a go with standpoint, say they by chance got up here to like 83, you could potentially look for them to rotate back down this way and be short there. That's probably better trade location in the direction of where the overall trade is than trying to be long.
Always remember on Fridays, guys, just try to be a little bit more careful on Fridays. You don't want to go home with making some silly mistakes on a Friday. It'll eat you all weekend. And if you got good profits throughout the week, maybe you just lock them in and work just like what we did this morning. Just work on replays, work on your trade plan, et cetera, et cetera. I think that may be a better use of time.
Absolutely. Okay, gang, that's our session for today. Hope that's kind of giving you an insight a little bit into how to do replay, or then how that can benefit you is being able to look for a specific setup. So you have to have a defined setup that you're looking for, know the criteria around that, and then get as many reps as you can. Take notes on that, and that will lead you towards that the ability to execute that instinctively in live markets. So it's a degree of back testing before you start forward testing down the road. And if you ever need any help with any of that, just give us a holler.
Absolutely.
You can always send if you need any assistance. Come on. No, don't draw. You can send us an email at team@tradeprofile.com, or give us a call or text at that number, and we'll receive that. With that, we'll let everybody go. No Q&A next week with the holiday, so everybody have a fantastic holiday. Hope you enjoy some time with some friends, and we'll be back the week after that as we wrap up 2019. Can you believe that?
Awesome.
All right, thanks everybody.
Yep.
Peace.
Take care, guys. Have a good holiday.